Hello and welcome to Locator Gaming. This video is one video in a series of 3 videos about Compass Games' Battle of Gettysburg game and the Battle Hymn system. 2 of the videos are me talking about my playthrough of the game, and the third video is kind of a time-lapse video of the pieces moving across the board. So if you haven't seen those other 2 videos, go ahead and check those videos out. And if you like what you see here, please hit the subscribe, the like button, and that bell icon for the notifications. All right, what I'm going to do in this video is I just finished playing through the Battle of Gettysburg and the Battle Hymn system by Compass Games. And as I was pulling chits out of the cup and doing actions, I was taking still photos with the overhead camera that I used to record the videos that I'm also going to post with this one, where I was talking through the strategy that was going through my head and what I wanted to do on each turn. So I thought it would be kind of interesting to just go through this slideshow of these still images and see what it kind of looks like with the pieces moving towards each other and getting into combat and away from combat. And I'll do a little bit of commentary, just talk through a little bit of what I see and can remember from the gameplay. So what we have here, just starting before I hit play, is the typical Gettysburg setup with the cavalry sitting there waiting for the 1st Confederate units to enter the board, and the 1st Corps off the board to the south, which in this map is the right hand edge of the map. And it's backwards when I'm using the camera, so this edge of the map. All right, I'll hit play and we'll watch it go through. All right, so the Confederates are coming on, 1st Corps is moving up. They move up and they get into a little bit of combat there on the ridge. Actually, I think they just retreated. So the Confederates keep pressing the issue, and the cavalry there's dismounted. There's more reinforcements for the Union coming on. Cavalry had to retreat back there. That's where they got back on their horses. And there's more Confederates coming on. What's going to happen is the Confederates, first the Union is going to press them a little bit, but then decide that, you know what, hey, they're up on the high ground and this is not the best idea, so let's retreat back. Cavalry's gone up to the northwest there to hold those roads, and pretty soon you're going to see the Union decide that, you know what, this might not be the best place to fight, especially now when there's even more Confederates coming on the board. There was a little bit of combat there. We see some units getting into the shattered boxes. And the Confederates still holding the high ground there. And here's where the Union is starting to pull back, like, hey, we need to get some better positions. The 11th Corps got a little too far out there, and quite a few of them got chased off the board. Now this is the point where if the Confederates had been lucky, they could have gone up onto Culp's Hill, up in the east over there. But I remember that once the Union here gets surrounded, they got a turn there and they were able to move up there first. So the Confederates could have got there on the high ground here, edging towards the end of day 1. But then they pressed up against Cemetery Hill and the side of Cemetery Ridge and got beat back a little bit. And we're still nearing the end of day 1, and the Confederates are still looking to try to push the Union off of this high ground. They decided against pressing that attack over on Culp's Hill, and then we just started to pull back here to get ready for the night phase to rally, even though there's more and more Confederate troops coming on. Once we get into the night phases here, actually here we do see that there are 2 control points that are taken, 2 victory point spots that were actually taken by the Confederacy. But we're doing more and more pullback with the Confederate player here, getting ready for rallying during the night phase. And now we've entered the night, so we're going to see more units coming back onto the board as things get rallied. And then in the second night turn, we'll see, there we go, Hancock's Corps coming onto the board. So a lot of reinforcements coming on. I forgot to move the turn marker. The turn marker here should be on turn 13 already, because this is still the night phase, and we just got some more units rallied back. You can see the shattered unit boxes are getting a little more empty as things rally, and the Union's taking up more positions. So the concept on day 2 here was the Confederates were just going to try to line up and prepare for a late attack when they got their initiative. and on their right-hand flank, the Union player was pressing the attack where he was a little weaker. And Hancock's corps is going to make a charge through the middle here. He's getting ready here, and pretty soon we'll see him make a charge that ends up being quite disastrous and wiping out almost his entire corps, except for the artillery. The Confederate player is still just lining up, waiting for the right time to attack, and he's going to need to be defending against the counterattack coming from the Union player. Up on the cemetery, there's the attack, and you can see in the shattered unit box, the Second Corps just got cremated, and almost the entire thing is there in the shattered box. More Union reinforcements coming onto the board. Here we have part of Longstreet's corps thinking about pressing an attack on the Confederate right flank, and you've got a bunch of Union artillery units that took position up on Little Round Top and in front of Big Round Top. They just surrounded the last unit of the Second Corps. Now you've got the Fifth Corps trying to plug this hole in the middle, and here's where Longstreet kind of shifted to say, you know what, let's actually go help the attack on Cemetery Ridge. And now the Confederate player is finally pressing their attack on Cemetery Hill, getting ready to press their attack. And this is where the Fifth Corps from the Union also says, hey, let's hit the flank. And Confederates were pushed back a little bit. They did take some units off of the hill, and they kept pressing. The problem is you can see more and more Union reinforcements keep coming onto the board and just keep filling in all the spaces as soon as the Confederate player makes any headway on those victory point spots. Did cause quite a few wounds and keeps pressing the attack. More and more Union units keep getting hurt. But there we just had a bunch of more fresh reinforcements for the Union come in and take those spots back. One last attack by the Confederate player, and that's the end. So that last attack by the Confederate player did yield damage onto the Union, but they were left with such weak units that I decided that I should probably just call it. For game terms, the Union player did actually have a decisive victory at the end of the first day based on victory points, but not very many. I think 7 more victory points than the Confederate player, 7 or 9. I can't remember now exactly. But I kind of thought, you know what, a general back in these days, the Confederate army was so beat up that they would just try to preserve the army and start to pull back so that they wouldn't get surrounded. Because you can kind of see in this last slide here too that the 11th Corps, even though it was a little beat up, was going to try to get around the flank. And there were a lot of weak units in the back of the Confederate line and on that left Confederate flank. A lot of 1-strength units that could have rallied during the night, but there was still another turn in the day phase here where they might have been pressed by the Union there. Okay, that's the time-lapse photos of the playthrough. I hope that this is at least a little interesting. So if you did like it, please hit that subscribe, like, and the notification bell icon, and leave me some comments down below. I hope you did enjoy this and that you're enjoying all of the series that I put up on the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.